It's giveaway time. Hey, welcome to another video. I said a few videos ago that once I got up to around 1,025 subscribers, I got over that 1,000 mark, I would give away a print. I'm a man of my word, so here we go. And to refresh your memory, you can choose between that one, which I took in Iceland back this past May. That one, Black Church from Iceland, or one that I took in Alaska a couple years ago when I went on a cruise. Your choice, you get to pick whichever one you want. Just keep in mind, if you pick one of the larger ones, I'm probably going to have to ship it in a tube because it just gets too costly when you want to send UPS or FedEx. You have to really box them up really well, and it costs $60, $70 to ship a print that big. So I'll probably put it in a tube and send it to you. You just have to let it lay flat for a little while. It'll be fine. I said I'd put the names in a hat, which I already have the names in here. Rustle them up, make sure it's nice and okay. And Rob R. from Dallas, Texas. Send me an email and I'll be happy to get the print off to you. Pick whichever one you want and I'll get it to you. What I decided to do was, I didn't have that many people. I had a few people, a handful of people put their names in. So I'd like to give away a couple more. I'd like to do 8x10s, which I can lay flat. And you can choose from one of those three, or I'm going to put up a picture I took of my buddy Henry the Heron. And the reason I'm going to use that one is because I took that picture almost at the exact same time I went over 1,000 subscribers. I took that picture, came home, I looked. About an hour later, I was over 1,000 subscribers. So in tribute to Henry and in tribute to reaching 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to add that photo. I'll put it up here. You can pick that one if you want as well, or one of those other three. It'll be on roughly 8x10 paper. It'll either be on Canson paper, which is a really good high quality paper, or Epson exhibition paper, which is a nice paper as well. It depends on which one the print looks better on. So I'm going to give away a couple more of those. Gary C. from Roseville, California. I think Gary was the first one to put his name in. So Gary, if you like an 8x10 print, same deal. Just shoot me off an email with your name, address, everything, and pick whichever image you want, and I'll be happy to send it off to you. And Devon S. I think Devon was from North Carolina. So Devon, same deal. Send me an email. I'll be glad to send it off to you. There were a few other people who put their name in. Marcus always comments. I kind of feel bad. I'll contact you. I'll get you something somehow, and we'll go from there. And there are a few other names. I'll work something out with you guys as well. I want everybody to try and get something. So that fits perfectly with what I wanted to talk about today. And that is, why do photographers always feel a need to have to give away? Why do they always want to devalue themselves? And, I fall prey to it now. This is a little different because of the YouTube giveaway. And I do give away prints now and again to a friend, so I'm not going to say I never do it, because I do it. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. But what I'm talking about specifically now, I'm not a pro photographer. But I know, especially in the wedding industry, newcomers come in and they want to devalue their own work. They'll say, oh, well, I'll do the wedding for $500. Again, I'm not a wedding photographer, so I don't have to deal with that nonsense. But I know that wedding photographers charge a whole lot more money than that because there's a whole lot of work involved. There's a ton of work that's involved in something like that. And yet people get themselves mixed up in giving away their work. And I think just on my own thing, to get those pictures there, especially the ones from Iceland, well, what did I have to do? Well, I had to plan that trip months in advance. I had to take expensive equipment, gear. I don't know how many thousands of dollars in camera and lenses and tripods and ball heads and memory cards and batteries and everything else. I didn't take a drone, but all those things add up. The thousands of dollars that you have to invest in your gear in order to go there and to take those images. Especially the one at Kirkefell and Kirkefoss. Now, the Black Church was, I'm sure, one. No, matter of fact, I think that the Black Church was one shot. But the one of the Kirkefell and Kirkefoss, that was 5 images blended together. You have to know how to exposure blend. You have to know how to set up your camera, if you want to do it, to take 1 stop underexposed, 2 stops underexposed, 1 stop overexposed, 2 stops overexposed, 1 that's supposed to be balanced. You have to know about dynamic range. You have to know how to blend these things together. That's knowledge that you're paying for. You know, you go to an accountant, they're going to charge you for their knowledge. You go to an attorney, they're going to charge you for their knowledge. I have to go to my heart doctor every 3-4 months because of the heart surgery I had. He's charging me for his knowledge. Yet photographers feel this need that they don't have to charge for their knowledge. And it's crazy. Or their friends think, oh, all you have to do is hit a button and make me a print. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is I spent, for my wife and I don't know, $8,000-$9,000 going to Iceland, taking thousands of dollars in photo equipment, driving all around and getting myself exhausted, knowing where to go, when to go, what time of day to go, looking on Google Earth to know, looking at maps and books and everything else, watching YouTube videos of where these places are to be, and then also just stumbling across other images like this one, which was one of my favorite ones, and that was just on a little side road that I had no intention of even going down. But for whatever reason, we pulled off on the side and there was that picture. But you had to be there. You had to know how to expose that image. That's knowledge. And for whatever reason, photographers, not all, but too many want to devalue their own worth. They want to say, well, it's okay. I'll sell you that 8x10 for $10. Oh yeah? Okay. Now granted, you're using your equipment over and over, but still you could say, it took me, by the time you add everything up, it cost me $15,000 to take that $10 8x10. And 20 years of knowledge of knowing how to expose it properly. But it's only worth $10. Don't worry about it. Okay. I think what I'm trying to do is aim this video not at pro photographers because they know better, and there's probably not any pro photographers watching this video anyway. Who knows? I know who my audience is. For a large extent, it's men over 55. Not necessarily in the United States. I was a little surprised. I was looking at my analytics the other day. Only about 35% of my viewers are in the United States. They're spread out around the world. But I know they're mostly men, and they're mostly 50, 55, and older. So they're mostly hobbyists, I'm guessing. And even as hobbyists, don't devalue yourself. Don't think, well, because I'm new, my images aren't worth something. You know, I'm going to put up a web page, but I'm going to sell them for $10 or $20. Don't do that to yourself. Not only are you doing that to yourself, when we left Iceland, the night before we left, we stayed in Reykjavik. And we walked down whatever that famous street is, I forget the name of it, where they have their rainbow sidewalk and lead you up to the church. Well, they have some galleries along the way. And we went in this one gallery, and there wasn't, I don't think, owned by the photographer. It was owned by a young lady. But at the time, they only had one photographer being represented in the entire gallery. And that guy, that photographer, was excellent. I mean, his work was off the charts. And it was mostly around Iceland. Most of his images were there. He was off the charts. And they had a lot of big metallic prints, and they had some paper prints. But they were just beautiful. They were selling them for $1,500, $2,500, $3,000. But if you really think about it, they're worth every bit of that. You know, it's beautiful work. That guy, I don't know how many people, there's photographers in the world who could do what he did, but not a lot. I mean, you think about it at the time when Ansel Adams was out there doing what he was doing in Yosemite, how many people were doing that? Not too many. That's why you get a lot of money for an Ansel Adams original these days. Michael Kenna. How many people can do what Michael Kenna does? Not too many. That's why Michael Kenna can get the money he gets for his images. Now, I'm not saying that you or I are in the league of Ansel Adams or Michael Kenna or some of these other people. I know I'm not. I'd like to believe, without sounding too... I have some images that I think are as nice as some images that Ansel has taken. But consistency-wise, you know, Ansel, there's a reason why he's Ansel Adams. There's a reason why Michael Kenna is Michael Kenna. He consistently produces great work. This guy, I forget his name, in the gallery in Reykjavik, I have a card somewhere. If anybody wants to know, I'll dig up the card and I'll get you the information. But he had, I don't know, 40 or 50 images in there. And they were all excellent. I mean, every one of them was really top of the line work. And it's that consistency, I think, that separates some people from others. But even you starting out, you have a nice image that you're pleased with. If you start giving those things away too inexpensively, when people walk into galleries, they don't understand why. Why am I going to pay $3,000 when I can pay Ed down the street $10? Good question, right? Well, because that guy in the gallery is really good. I mean, I don't know. That guy in the gallery had to invest a lot of time. I'm sure he slept in the cold a lot of nights. He got up at sunrise countless times to get one image. He has so much work involved in producing those images. His time, his expertise, his knowledge, the equipment he uses. It's really no different than someone going to law school or going and getting their CPA. You have to put in the work. You have to put in a lot of time and a lot of knowledge. If you're starting out, think about that. Don't devalue your own work. Think about what you had to do to get that image. I know even when I go and photograph Henry, 90% of the times when I see him, I don't get any good images. You know, I went the other day just it was yesterday or the day before, I followed him around. We had just had a storm, old tropical storm when it hit us. Well, it didn't really hit us that bad. We were kind of a little bit out of the cone, but tropical storm Debbie that hit a lot of Florida. Well, we got some rain, we got some wind, and I was following Henry around, and it was during a windy part of the morning, and Henry didn't want to fly. You could kind of tell he was a little uneasy, and he was kind of standing still, and you could see his neck wobbling in the wind, and he'd flutter a little bit, and you could tell he was a little uneasy. And so I followed him around. He was fishing for a little bit. I followed him around for a better part of an hour, and I got nothing. You know, I didn't get one image that I liked. I took a few images, but I put them out here on the computer and looked at them, and I think I worked one of them up, and, you know, it's never going to see the light of day. Well, that happens most of the time. Or I'll go down there and I won't see them, or I'll see other birds. And I've mentioned in the other videos, the reason why I like Henry so much is he's used to me, and he doesn't fly off most of the time. Occasionally he'll fly off, but normally he'll just stand there and look at me and say, why does this goofball keep raising his camera? And he'll go on about his business. Where the other herons, you get within 20 yards and psh, off they go. They want no part of you. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time I spend with that one bird to get maybe, this past year, there were maybe 5 or 6 images that I was really kind of proud of. But it took me a whole year to get them. And then you'll have somebody go, oh, can't you just print me one out? I could. So anyway, don't devalue yourself. If you're starting out, treat yourself, even if you don't consider yourself a professional, consider your work professional. I think that's the best way of doing it. Don't sell yourself cheap. You had to spend time learning your craft. You had to spend time on your gear. You had to spend time chasing around your subjects, whether it be sunrise, sunset, a bird, whatever it is. You had to spend money to go to Iceland. You know, we went to the Tetons a few years ago. We got there, and the place, the valley, was smoked out the whole time because of all these wildfires from the area. And I got next to nothing. And I spent a lot of money going there and spent a week there. And I got like 1 or 2 images that I was happy with. It's not a matter of, can't you just print me one out? That's all you have to do. Yeah, that's all I have to do is print you one out. Anyway, just think about it. Till next time, take good care. The people that won, thank you for putting your names in, and contact me and I'll get them out to you. All right, till next time, take good care. Bye-bye.